Hey YouTube, it's Little Rocker Cutie 2005, also known as Andre here. Once again, chilling with the awesome Buffy Xena Man, also known as Chris. And this is actually going to be a two-part video. I'm going to start off by showing off my small holiday haul, and then we're going to get into my VHS collection. So with this holiday haul, be expecting a quick cut, as I said in the behind the scenes video, which you may see before this, because I'm going to have to take you into my bedroom to show you my last Christmas present. But I'm going to get started here. Now most of these came from Shawna. They were for Christmas. And the first one here is Going Overboard. This was actually, I think, Adam Sandler's first movie. I'm not positive on that, but I was told this was a bad movie, and let me just say, people were right. I mean, I've seen some bad Adam Sandler movies. There's some that I just couldn't get through, like Punch Drunk Love was one of them. I didn't enjoy Click, but this one, it had its moments, but my favorites are still Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, and The Waterboy. I mean, the classics never go out of style, in my opinion. This next one, I don't know too much about. It's a zombie movie called Trailer Park of Terror. Now, it's a zombie movie, I do know that, and it's about these high school students who are returning from a retreat when their bus crashes in the middle of a trailer park, which has all these hillbilly zombies in it, I guess. Now, if anybody knows any information about this movie, could somebody leave me a comment or send me a message or something, give me some kind of inside information as to what this movie's like, because it's one that I've never heard of, and as much as I like zombie movies, I'm not sure if I'll like this one. So if anybody out there's seen this, maybe let me know if it's worth my time. This next one you may have seen before, but it's not really a Christmas present, but it was the first Highlander. Now, I have talked about this. This is the one where it's Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery, and they're in this battle or something like that in modern day New York. And I think this is the one with the Queen song, Who Wants to Live Forever. Now, I did enjoy this one. I have to say, after watching it, I am a fan. And speaking of Highlander, I also have here the Renegade version, or also known as the director's cut of Highlander 2. Now, I haven't watched this one yet, but once again, it brings back Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery, and I don't know much about this one because I haven't really watched it yet, but it's one that I'm looking forward to watching, and it's one I'm excited for, I'll put it that way. The next one is in addition to my Van Damme collection. Now, Shawna knew I didn't have this one and I'd never seen it, but it is Cyborg. Now, there was also a sequel that had Angelina Jolie in it, but this is really the only one I cared about because it's one of Van Damme's, I don't know if you'd call it one of his box office boffos, but it was when he was starting to really churn out the hits in the late 80s and early 90s, but I haven't watched this one yet, and so this is one I am looking forward to watching. This last one actually came from a family friend, and the poster I'm going to show you after this also came from that same friend, but this is one of those Midnight Horror 8-packs, Hatchets and Cleavers. It's got a movie called Dirt Boy, it's got The Ridge, Green River, Animal Room, Followed Home, Loaded, Hollywood Scarefest, and The Killing Mind. Now, what interested me about this most was this movie Animal Room, which has Neil Patrick Harris and Matthew Lillard in it. and this other one called Loaded, which is about these 7 young people that gather to make a horror movie. I guess it's one of them cabin in the woods type things. I'm not sure, I'll have to look into it. I told my friend that I would review a couple of these just to see what they were like and if I could really get into them, but I'm hoping that some of these will be worth my time. But like I said, that Animal Room, that one looks really interesting. And now I'm going to do a quick cut, and I'm going to take you into my bedroom and show you my last Christmas present, so we will be right back. And as you can see, we are now in my bedroom. I am showing off my last Christmas present from my family friend, and it is a poster for a movie I've been wanting to see, and it is, as you can see, The Roommate. Now, basically what I found out is that this movie is a retelling of the movie Single White Female, but when my friend gave me this poster, I was sincerely shocked because I hadn't seen the movie yet, and I like Leighton Meester, not because of Gossip Girl, but there was a song she did back in 2010 that I really got into, and if you can see that guy there, you might recognize him from the first Twilight movie. He was actually the main villain, James. Now, I don't know much else about this movie, but like I said, I haven't seen it, but if anybody out there could give me some insight as to what this movie's like and if I'd enjoy it, that would really help a lot. And there's going to be another quick cut because Buffy Xenaman also has a poster to show you from the same family friend. So once again, we'll be right back.
Hello, Buffy Xenaman here. I got the Avengers movie poster from our friend too, and I love this movie. This is an awesome movie. When I opened it up and saw it, I was like, awesome! I love this movie. Don't own it yet, but this is an awesome movie, an awesome poster.
We'll own it one of these days.
Yes. I plan on getting definitely one, but yeah. This is freaking awesome.
Actually, I'll zoom in on it so everybody can get a kind of a closer look.
You see it's not hung up, I just did the bridge like this.
I know, but I'm going to try and get a...
I'm telling people this. But, yeah.
Okay, let me... Whoa. Yeah, there's a good look at it.
Yep. I like the casting they did for this movie, and they look awesome on the cover of this poster.
They do.
That's about all I have to say about this. This is freaking awesome.
Alright, and now we will be right back to get into the VHS collection. And we are back again, and now we're going to get started with my VHS collection. And I'm going to let Buffy Xenaman get started here.
The Benny Hill VHS is the best of Benny Hill One Night Stand.
Yeah, I got these all from my mom. She's a big Benny Hill fan, and she turned me on. She pretty much turned me on to the show. I mean, he was a really funny guy. I mean, very entertaining. His skits are just classic. I mean, you can't just sit through... Me, personally, if I'm going to watch one of these tapes, I'm going to watch all 4 of them. Because it's just that much laughter, that much fun. It's... What can I say? I enjoy them.
I've never seen them.
You ought to be smacked.
What would you do? Your turn.
Starting off for me, I, of course, am gonna appeal to the horror nuts of our audience. I'm gonna start off with the classic Child's Play. Now, I think everybody knows the story about this one. A serial killer who transfers his body into a doll, and of course, this doll decides to go after this little boy that he revealed his real name to. And it was pretty creative for the time. I mean, the animatronics on Chucky, they were like top of the line for the time. This was 1988. And, I mean, this movie, Chucky was just truly scary. I mean, the first time I saw this, I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and I will just say Chucky scared the shit out of me.
He didn't scare me. He's a doll. Just kick the bastard.
Look over there.
Yeah, I know. One of these days I'll smash it.
Yeah, and Mom will snack you.
I'll say you did it.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, I never really care for Chucky.
Must be why you gave most of them to me.
Yeah. It's like, you step on him and he'll be dead.
Drop kick him.
Throw him in the furnace. He's a fucking doll, for Christ's sake.
They put him in the fireplace in the first one, and he still didn't die.
Backfire is what to say there. Liar, liar. Jim Carrey. I hated this movie.
I love it.
I hate it.
That's the one where he can't lie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he made one years later called To Tell the Truth.
What was it, like a sequel?
No, it was just a... I guess he went to this support group, and this guy composed him to tell nothing but the truth.
Oh, no, I know what movie you're thinking of. You're thinking of Yes Man.
Either way, it's still like a ripoff of this movie.
I don't know if you could call it a ripoff, because, I mean, in Liar Liar, he can't lie, but in Yes Man, he can't say no to anything.
Pretty much same premise.
I guess you got a point. Next up for me, I have one of George Romero's underrated works. This is Monkey Shines. Now, I don't know much about this movie. This was one that I saw a lot in the video stores as a kid, and the cover always creeped me out. Like I was saying to Jax of Cinema Brothers Supreme, he agreed with me that this cover was creepy. And I did see Matt Rambaref for Life's review of this past Halloween, and it made me want to watch this movie more. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but I love George Romero's work, and if the backstory on this, from what I've heard from some of the reviews, is true, then they should do like some kind of different cut, or at least George Romero should supervise a new cut himself and at least try and get back the footage that Orion screwed him out of. I mean, if Orion had enough balls to screw him out of his original version of this, who's to say they didn't screw him out of some scenes in the Dark Half, which he also did for the same company? There's something to think about.
Backbeat.
Ah, this is a good movie. This movie actually tells the early story of the Beatles. That's pretty much all I know about it. It's got Stephen Dorff from Blade, who you all may know as Deacon Frost, or as some of us may know as Jimmy Meltrieger from Season 2 of Roseanne, which is actually where he got his start.
I don't like the Beatles, so...
Well, that was another one I got from my mom. You know she's a Beatles nut.
No.
I like them, so. They made good music. This is another one I bought based on some reviews I heard. It is The Relic. Now, this has Penelope Ann Miller and Tom Sizemore in it. It's about this creature that rips the heads off people, I guess. This is another one that I kind of bought based on Matt's review of it, because it was another one that sounded interesting to me, but once again, it's another one I haven't gotten around to watching yet, and I bought it probably a few months to close to a year ago, and it's just one of those movies that I have to be in the mood to watch horror sometimes. I'll put it that way. Unless it's something like, say a classic slasher, Halloween, that kind of thing. I can watch that any old time, but something with like a creature, like creature features as they're called, I have to be in a certain mood for them.
Dante's Pink.
That is a good movie.
I think I've seen it once.
It's the one about the volcano.
Yeah, I saw it once. Wasn't a real big fan of it.
I got a kick out of it, but Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones, that's a better one.
Yeah, well, that's a decent one. I watched that in, like, what was it? U.S. Earth Science or something like that.
I think that's when we had to watch Dante's Peak. We didn't get to watch Volcano.
We watched Volcano.
Next up is Waxwork. Now, this one is very underrated in my opinion. I mean, this is classic 80s cheese. I mean, all the effects are practical, which just makes it even cooler. It's about these kids that go to this midnight show at a wax museum, and the exhibits look incredibly real, but all they need is a victim. And if you cross, like, the velvet ropes, you're trapped in each of these, like, horror monsters worlds. Like, there's the mummy, there's the Wolfman, I think there's a vampire. I remember something about the Marquis de Sade, and this has Zach Galligan from Gremlins in it. David Warner, I think he's like the main villain, and this was just a really fun movie. I have to agree with Matt when I say that this is a very underrated classic, and it's very fun.
Batteries not included. I never even heard of this movie.
That's another one I got in that my mom gave me, and I haven't watched it yet.
I guess it was about aliens.
It's like these little toy aliens or something like that. I don't know the whole story.
Well, for the guessing of it, it looks like little flying saucers.
Something like that.
Yeah, art cover though.
It's the original art for it.
Yeah, there's art. So, ugh.
That's the cool thing about VHS. They had such cool artwork.
Yep. Yes, they do.
Now, next up for me, this is one of my favorites. It's The Faculty. Now, this is from Robert Rodriguez, who directed From Dusk Till Dawn, and the writer of Scream and Scream 2, well, also Scream 4, but Kevin Williamson. And it's got an excellent cast. Elijah Wood, Josh Hartnett, Usher's in here. This was the debut performance of Jordana Brewster from Fast and the Furious, and I think she did a really good job. I mean, all the young cast, they did an amazing job. The actors, they got to play the teachers. I mean, Robert Patrick alone, he is just a genuinely creepy son of a bitch, especially in this movie. And I thought the T-1000 was bad, but once I saw this, I was like, oh. And again, like Disturbing Behavior, this movie will make you think of high school way differently.
I saw the movie a couple of times, and I got to be in the mood to watch it, really. It's like one of those movies that doesn't really appeal to me.
Like Creature Features to me.
Right. Ransom.
Oh, that's a good one.
The only thing I know about this is the guy who, him.
Yeah, Gary Sinise.
He's on New York CSI.
Yep.
And I didn't like this movie at all.
I liked it. Basically, Mel Gibson's son is kidnapped, and they want ransom for his son. But basically, what Mel Gibson does is he turns the tables. He goes on the news, puts the ransom money on the news desk, and he tells the kidnappers, "I'm offering this money as a reward on your head," and he just goes after them. It's, in my opinion, non-stop action. One of Ron Howard's. It's underrated, and I personally think it's one of his best.
I think it's a piece of shit, but go on.
Oh. Okay, next up for me. Now, I have heard a lot of people give this movie a lot of hate, but it's the remake of The Haunting. This is one that I actually enjoyed. It's got Liam Neeson and Catherine Zeta-Jones, but like I said, it's a remake of the 1963 Haunted House movie, and it's from the director of Speed. But basically what they did with this one was they amped up the special effects, of course. It was the 90s, so special effects, you know. That was like the hottest thing. I mean, what you could do with special effects far surpasses, like, I don't know. Some people say that the original is better. I personally can't get into the original. I really enjoy this one. And I don't care how much shit I get for it. This is one that I get into. It's one that I enjoy. I mean, granted, I like the House on Haunted Hill remake a bit better, but I think this one was still pretty good.
Desperado.
From the El Mariachi trilogy, directed by Robert Rodriguez. This one has Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek, and I don't know much about this one. It was in a box that I found when we were moving, so I just took it because it went with another movie I have that you're about to see after the next one I show. But I heard a lot about Desperado, and it was one that I wanted to see for years. But next up for me is the Stephen King classic, Children of the Corn. Now, this movie, even with me being 28, this movie still puts some fear in me. You may laugh at me for this, but downstate Michigan is loaded with cornfields. I see cornfields, and I'm in a car. I'm like, drive faster. Go, go, go. Well, you don't know what's in them cornfields.
I'm guessing corn. Wildlife. Freddy Krueger, Jason.
Yeah, they could all be hiding out there.
I'll go out there and say hi.
Remember the raid from Freddy vs. Jason?
Yes.
Jason hiding in the cornfield?
Yes, I do. But I'm pretty much sure if there's evil children in the cornfield, I'll just set the fucker on fire and watch them burn. They're pure evil children, trust me. You'll want them around.
Yeah. Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Now, this is the one I was talking about. It's the sequel to Desperado, and it is the finale to Robert Rodriguez's El Mariachi trilogy. Now, this one and Desperado both had Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek, but I don't think El Mariachi had Antonio Banderas in it because I think it was made in like 91 or 92, and Desperado didn't come along until 95, I think. This one actually came out in 2003, had a star-studded cast besides Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek. You had Johnny Depp, you had Mickey Rourke, Willem Dafoe. As a matter of fact, I think this was Enrique Iglesias' first movie, and he did a pretty good job, I think.
I really have nothing to say about it. I never saw it. It's not one of my movies I would watch.
That's one of the ones I got into. There's just certain action I get into, some I don't. Next up I have here Phantasm 3. Now, I started to watch this, but I couldn't finish it because it had been years since I'd seen part 2, and I've never watched the first one, even though I have it on DVD. I'm actually trying to get all of these on DVD so I can actually sit down and watch them all. But from what I saw of this one, it was actually kind of interesting because this was supposed to be the finale. And then, I think in 98, they made Phantasm 4. And since then, with the way 4 ended, there's been rumors of a Phantasm 5, but it's never happened. And who knows if it ever will.
It's an awesome movie. I've seen it a couple times. That is awesome. I love the ending. He's just too hard to kill. As good as it gets.
It's one I don't really care for.
I found it boring.
I don't even know why that one's in my collection.
I was given to you.
I think so.
I know.
Either that or I found it in a box.
True. But I found this movie really, 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 really boring.
Because I liked it when I was younger because I was into Jack Nicholson for like the longest time. I still like Jack Nicholson, but that's not one of my favorites.
I saw it in school. It's like, this is such a bullshit movie.
It's like one of the ones that, I don't know, you get bored with it.
Oh yeah, very quickly.
Next up, I I have what was supposed to be the finale in the Alien series. It is Alien Resurrection. Now, this movie gets a lot of shit, and I don't see why.
Neither do I.
I mean, Alien 3, I can see the shit that gets because that was bad, but I think this one was actually a better way to kind of take the series in a different direction if they were going to end it, and it's just a really interesting watch.
Just for the record, we disagree highly on Alien 3.
You have to remember, I watched it with my mom when it came out.
You gotta remember, I watched it by myself and I thought it was awesome. You're saying it's horrible.
It was!
I liked it. She sacrificed herself to kill the alien race.
And what do they do in Alien Resurrection? Bring her back with the damn queen inside her.
No, that's the one part I don't understand. They got her blood from her DNA. And they managed to get alien DNA from that. They cloned her and they managed...
Some things can't be explained.
And where are the other queens? They cloned her many times. So where are
they cloned her like 8 times.
Right, and all of those clones should have a queen in them.
I think it's because the first 7, like you see in the movie, the first 7 clones were like, they're all messed up. Because they wanted the perfect clone of both Ripley and the Queen, and with the 8th clone, they got both.
I don't know why I get such hate either. It's such a good movie.
I enjoyed it.
Yep, it's my turn.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Mystic Pizza.
Ah, the movie that put Julia Roberts on the map before Pretty Woman.
I have no idea. I don't watch this movie.
It's one of those, I don't know, it's a chick flick. It's one of them you kind of have to be in the mood for.
Romantic comedy.
Yeah, chick flick. Put it that way.
Yeah, it's like one of those movies I'm not sure I'll ever will watch. So.
But I got it because I like Julia Roberts. Now, next up for me, I have here Urban Legend's Final Cut. It's also known as Urban Legend 2. Now, this one, I have to say, it was pretty good, but I still say the first one is the best. The third one just sucks. I mean, this one's kind of like right in the middle, because you have the security guard from the first one who comes back, and
the killer, the first one came back too.
Was it the same killer?
Yeah. She came back. She was the main killer in this one, but she came back.
Then I'm going to have to watch this again. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yep, did I give that to you, though?
Yeah. Because I couldn't find the DVD.
Yeah, I found a GameStop. Not GameStop, but...
no, you got them in a box set.
No, Card Vault. I got Card Vault.
Yeah, you got the tape at Card Vault, but then you found the DVDs in a box set, which is why you gave me the tape.
Right. But I found the Card Vault had VH. That's just like 2 for 1. So yeah, that's where I got the VHS from. Conspiracy theory.
Now, this movie is actually pretty interesting.
I didn't buy the premise.
It's... I don't know, it's not really one of those premises that you really buy the first time you see it. It's one of them you have to watch a couple times to really, really follow it.
I tried like 3 times, and after like the first half an hour, it's like, I had better things to do in my life than watch this movie. Again, Mel Gibson was never really one of my favorite actors. Especially after his crazy, especially he went crazy.
Well, after he went crazy is when I stopped liking him, but what, I think, for me, my favorite Mel Gibson movies are still the Lethal Weapon series. I mean, I don't care for Mad Max. I've never been a fan of Mad Max. As you saw, I have Ransom. That's one I like. It's one of the few Mel Gibson movies I like, but there's just some Mel Gibson movies, I can't get into them, because he's not really an actor that is particularly my favorite, especially after The Passion and he went all crazy and all that.
Ugh, Passion. He missed the point of the life of Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah.
Get money, bastard.
Money hungry. It's your turn or mine? Okay. Next up, I have one here that I found pretty interesting. It's Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer in What Lies Beneath. Now, this is kind of a ghost story type movie where Michelle Pfeiffer starts seeing things and hearing voices in their house, and Harrison Ford thinks it's her imagination. And I think what happens is that Harrison Ford had an affair on Michelle Pfeiffer, and he ended up killing the girl that he had an affair with because she was going to tell his wife or something like that. This is another one it's been a long time since I've watched, but I remember really enjoying this one when I watched it.
I think that's about right. He drowned in the bathtub.
Something like that. I don't really remember.
That's do I. Aaron Brockovich.
That is a good one.
For me, it's the movie you can watch once and you're satisfied.
Once or twice for me. I don't watch it that much.
I know it's basically a true story about a prostitute or something.
She was a prostitute, and then she became a lawyer.
Okay.
But that movie finally got Julia Roberts an Oscar.
No, isn't there like a joke about the prostitute and the lawyer being the same thing?
Never heard that one.
I don't know. It's been a while. It's something about prostitute and the lawyer being the same thing, really. You get on your knees and do some sucking.
Something for money.
Yep.
And now, I have... Well, the next few are actually going, from me personally, are actually going to be my James Bond collection. I do have most of them, and we're going to start out with the very first one, which is Dr. No. Now, I did watch this one, and I think Sean Connery was a pretty good James Bond for his time, and this is the one that I think it was before James Bond really got popular, but this one was still fairly decent for being the very first one.
The Crow. Awesome movie.
Yes.
I haven't watched it. It has Brandon Lee in it. He died after this movie, didn't he?
He died in an accident on the set.
Was it during or after?
I think it was during. Because they had to finish it without him, I think.
Well, I'll have to look it up. But yeah, it's pretty much about someone dies wrongful death, a crow brings them back to life to avenge their death.
Pretty cool movie, though, based on a comic book.
Yep.
Continuing with my James Bond theme, I have the second one here, From Russia with Love. Now, I started to watch this one, but I'm not sure if I watched the whole thing. I do know this has Robert Shaw from Jaws in it, and I think he's the villain, but I'm not exactly sure on that. I would have to go back and watch it again, but I'm a James Bond fan, so anything James Bond is usually good to me. I mean, people have their different opinions on who the best James Bond is. I guess it all depends on who you started out with. Now, me, for instance, I started out with Pierce Brosnan and GoldenEye. GoldenEye, still my favorite James Bond movie. I don't care how bad people say of the villain Sean Bean is. I think he did a good job. He made a pretty good villain, but From Russia with Love, I really don't know what to say on this one. I only watched it like one time.
The Crow, City of Angels. Same premise, different actor. I haven't seen it in a while, so.
I don't think I've ever watched that one.
No? It's supposed to be good.
I know you gave it to me, I just never watched it.
It's supposed to be the best of the Crow series. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I heard a lot of talk about that one. Mainly from Mandy, because it had Vincent Perez.
She's an obsessive fangirl. No?
She's seen Queen of the Damned one too many times. She's obsessed with Marius.
Yep.
I have here now the third, and possibly in a lot of fans' eyes, the best James Bond movie. This is Goldfinger. Now, this one I think everybody knows about because you have characters like Pussy Galore, and then you have the villain. I don't know if he's like the main villain, but Odd Job. He paints the girl from the first one with gold paint, and then he has this hat that he tosses, and he breaks the girl's neck with it. And when I saw this movie, and I was just like, wow. This was one that, like, I guess you could say reaffirmed my status as a James Bond fan in terms of the classic ones. Now, I haven't gotten into, like, the Roger Moore stuff. I do have most of it, but I'm still stuck on, like, Pierce Brosnan, and I'm still trying to work my way through the Sean Connery stuff. I have the Daniel Craig stuff on DVD. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Okay, Outbreak.
That's one I got from my mom.
It's probably about a virus. Never watched it, don't really care.
It's like this monkey that causes this virus in a small town, and the only way to stop the virus is to, like, firebomb the town or something like that.
I just don't care for virus movies.
Well, unless they're zombie movies, I've noticed.
Yeah, zombie virus movies are make more fun than regular virus movies.
Well, when you think about it, 28 days later, that virus was started by monkeys.
Yeah, but it's still controversial if there's a zombie movie or an infection movie.
Right. Well, because they call them infected in it. They don't call them zombies.
Alright.
Continuing with my James Bond theme, I have the fourth one here. This is Thunderball. Now, this is another one that I haven't watched yet because I don't even think I made it through From Russia with Love yet. But since I have all of these, I figure I have all the time in the world to watch them and really enjoy them. But I'm still working on completing the collection. I'd like to get the DVDs, especially that set that I saw Matt Ramble Rat for Life get in the mail. I mean, that package was just amazing, Matt. I would kill for that. That is just, that's like, I don't know, it's the same editions as my edition of GoldenEye. Those are the ones I want to have on DVD.
Okay.
What else can be said? Saw it in the theater 3 times, cried every time, laugh at me if you will.
I saw it when it came out VHS. Because everyone was trying to get it. Now it got re-released, and it got re-released for a DVD Blu-ray box set.
Yeah, because there's the DVD and then there's like a 4-disc Blu-ray or something like that.
Yeah. VHS, I could get this one day, because it's going to cost $2 at the pawn shop.
Right.
Apparently you paid like $100 for this.
No, I didn't. That was a Christmas present when it first came out.
I'm talking about Gerald. VHSs back then. Like an arm and a leg.
I don't know, I used to see that in Walmart for like $25.
Yeah, see? See what I mean? Now it's like from $25 to $2.
I don't know. Once again, I'm continuing my James Bond theme. This is You Only Live Twice. Now, I do know a little bit about this one. It was the last consecutive one to star Sean Connery. And even though I've never seen this one, it has one of my favorite villains, Blofeld, who is played by the legendary Donald Pleasance, who most of you horror fans may know from Halloween, of course. But he has a famous line in this, which of course, the name of the movie, he goes, "You only live twice, Mr. Bond." But that's pretty much what I know about this one, but this is one I'm looking forward to watching because I want to see some of Donald Pleasance's work before Halloween. Maybe some after. Like, I remember a John Carpenter movie called Prince of Darkness. I saw that when I was a kid, and I couldn't really follow it at that age, but if I could find it again and try and watch it, I would probably honestly get into it.
There's something about Mary.
Ah, one I was not allowed to watch when it first came out.
Edition. Yeah, I remember, like, the balls in the zipper that come in the hair. It's like a 50-50 movie with me.
I wasn't allowed to watch it when it first came out, just like with American Pie.
I snuck around and watched it on my parents' back. When it came on Cinemax.
Let's see, we didn't get any of those channels, so
It was free.
I had to rent everything, and I couldn't rent certain stuff without my mom's permission, and that was a movie she said no to when it first came out.
Yeah, we got it for free though for a while.
See, we never did, and when we did get it, it was all snowy.
Yep.
Now I'm continuing with my James Bond, of course. This is Diamonds Are Forever. Now, as you've seen, I don't have On Her Majesty's Secret Service because it's one of the few that I don't have in my collection, but this one brought back Sean Connery, of course. And now I don't exactly know much about this one either. A lot of the earlier ones I don't know much about because, as I said, I got into James Bond with Pierce Brosnan and GoldenEye, and I went on from there. It's only recently that I've started going back and watching the earlier ones because I wanted to see some of the other actors, and I have to say, from what I've seen of Sean Connery, he does make a good James Bond.
Naked Gun.
Well, that's the third one.
3.5.
33 and a third.
The final movie for the Naked Gun series with Leslie Nielsen. Also starring in Nicole Smith. I love this movie. It had like some really fucked up moments, like when he's in prison. He goes, "Prison will change you." It's like, why? When I came here, I was white.
All the Naked Gun movies had messed up moments.
Oh, when he goes to the sperm bank to go undercover, find out about this lady, and they make him donate like 8 times. And the last time he was in there, he's like, "You need some help?" Yeah. And they send him like a dominatrix with a whip.
What about in the first one when he's supposed to be undercover as an umpire and he can't wait to call the batter out?
Yep.
And he starts moonwalking behind home plate.
Or he starts singing.
Yeah.
Andre? Yeah, 1 minute left.
Oh. It might go a little bit longer, I'm not sure. Check the time on it. 34 minutes. Probably go a little longer on it. Next up, continuing with my James Bond theme, is the first Roger Moore outing, Live and Let Die. Now, this one I do know a little bit about because I know about the villain, Dr. Kananga, and I know about Jane Seymour's character in here, and the 7-Up guy of the 70s, with that weird laugh, that kind of like the Count on Sesame Street. But this one also had the big hit from Paul McCartney and Wings, the theme song, of course, Live and Let Die. That song, it's one that even today I have to crank it up because it's just one of them songs. It fit the movie and it just rocks.
But would. I never heard of it.
That's one I was into when I was younger. I've had that since I was probably like 15 or 16 maybe. It was one of them I was into at that time. But it's about this one guy who's nervous about his wedding, and he gets his 2 best friends, and they remember all the good times they had growing up in the Wood, of course, not Hollywood, but Inglewood, California. It's actually a pretty fun movie. Hey YouTube, I'm sorry about that last part cutting out. I'm gonna try and edit that out, hopefully, but this will be uploaded as part 1, and we will be back tomorrow to do some more of my VHS collection, and once again, I will try and talk about The Man with the Golden Gun, which is where we will start from, and since we will be signing off for tonight, or should I say in the morning, as it is 6:24 right now here in Michigan, so This is Little Rocker Cutie 2005, also known as Andre. I'm chilling with the awesome Buffy Zena Man, also known as Chris. We're telling you to enjoy life, enjoy some Starburst, enjoy some Skittles, and Chris,
Eat the chicken.
and we'll see you next time around.